Today we are going to go through an arm workout. So we are working specifically biceps and triceps only, no shoulders. We are going to start out with a cable hammer curl. So I like this because it's neutral grip. It allows you to work like on the thickness of the bicep, the hammer curls do. So with the hammer curl, using the cable machine, we are able to have continuous tension on the muscle, which has been argued to have better results as far as time under tension, right? So we're starting out with that. Rep wise, you can do 10, you could do 12, you could do 15, starting out with like 2 to 3 sets. And of course, working progressive overload. So once it starts to get easy, bump your weight up so that you are continuing to grow that muscle.
This is the cable rope hammer curl. So we use a neutral grip here. Palms are going to face in towards each other. We want to have that nodule secured in our hand, like by using a good grip. So we have our thumb is attached here. Now we want a strong core, so feet slightly outside the hips, core is super tight. We really want to make sure that we're not going into anterior or posterior pelvic tuck here, so neutral spine. Now we're going to pull the weight up, bring the rope out to the side a little bit at the top, and then we're going to squeeze right there at the top. So inhale here, exhale here. And that should really be focusing on just the bicep. You want to make sure your shoulders are back and down. That way we're not using the traps. And you really only want to feel this in the bicep. You might feel a tiny bit in the forearms, but it really should just be biceps here. And as it gets harder, you're going to just breathe and focus through it, really bracing and using that breath to help you. And that is our rope hammer curl.
From there, we're going to pop over to a tricep machine. With the machine, it allows you to focus on form and not using momentum or leverage. So it's kind of nice that way. With the triceps, we see that they respond really well to high volume. So we're working like reps of 12 to 15, maybe higher if that's something you are capable of. And again, like 2 to 4 sets, depending on what your goal is.
All right, for our seated tricep extension, we want to make sure that the pad comes to just like up underneath of our chest. We're going to grab the handles, palms face inwards, and you're going to make sure that your triceps are pressing into the pad here. So really isolating triceps. And then all we are doing is pressing down. So you're extending the elbows, and then we're going to control it on the way up and the elbows, and then press it back down. So the movement's nice and slow and controlled. The only place we're feeling this is in the triceps. They're very isolated right now. If you're feeling it in the front of the shoulder, that's something we need to take a look at. If you're feeling it in the biceps, that's something we need to take a look at, because here the tricep is controlling it, not the bicep. My bicep, look, it's completely relaxed. So all of the controlling of the movement is coming from the tricep. And that is our machine tricep extension.
From there, we are moving to a dumbbell bicep curl. So this is seated. With the seated curl, we are really looking to not have any momentum. So you are sitting here. I want your arms glued to your side, and you're just going to bend and extend the elbow. When we start to see like this motion, you're missing out on half the rep and allowing your shoulders to do a lot of work, maybe even your traps too. So keep those arms locked in. Keep the that we're just bending and extending the elbow, and really focus on loading just the bicep. All right, we're going to do a seated bicep curl. Now this exercise is to work just our bicep. So when we're setting up for this, probably grab a lighter weight than you think. So what we need to do is pin our arms to our sides. There is a big tendency when doing bicep curls to really use momentum and like swing these weights up. When we're seated, we take out some of the body's ability to use momentum, but we can still gain quite a bit. So we're going to rotate your palms so they face outwards. Your shoulders should be back. You can press your head into the chair. If you have a bench, you may press your head into the back of it. Otherwise, we just want to keep the shoulders pressed into it. You want to keep your core tight. Feet are pressed into the floor.
palms face out. We're going to curl the weight up. So we're thinking about keeping those elbows pinned down to your side. The only thing that's moving is your elbow. So we are not bringing the weight up like this, okay? Like a lot of the times people will bring it up. You're swinging it. You're missing out on like half of the benefits of the exercise. So nice and slow, bring it up. Don't allow your elbow to come out here. Keep it tucked, keep it next to your side. And you're just really gonna feel that contraction on the bicep. You should not feel it in your tricep. You should not feel it in your traps. You should not feel it in your shoulder. It should be just all right there on that bicep. So we're just right here. That is the only thing working. I mean, your forearm's working some. We have grip, right? We want to hold on to the weight. But that bicep is our prime mover. This is a bicep curl. So keep those elbows glued to your sides. Don't allow them to swing up. Keep that tension just right there on your bicep. And for this exercise, you can do them bilaterally. You can alternate them. However, when you alternate them, there can be more of a tendency to swing them. So really, really pay attention and keep that elbow glued to your side. We also want to be careful not to finish off the curl, right, by bending your wrist. You want to keep your wrist nice and strong, keep it straight, bring it up, not curl it, just bring it up straight, and then back to straight. And that is our seated dumbbell bicep curl.
And then from there, we move over to a skull crusher. I really like the overhead tricep movements, right? Where we have stretch on that tricep. When we stretch out the tricep, we're working in the lengthened position. This allows greater load. Kind of along the same principle as like the constant tension of the cable. So if we're working the muscle in the long, the eccentric portion, you're technically giving it somewhat of a greater load because you're working that stretch. So this could lead to potentially better results. But it gives you a different angle. It does hit the tricep a little different than using the seated press down machine. When you're working triceps, I do like to include a exercise where we're working in that shorter range. So whether it's the seated press down or whether you're doing some sort of a kickback or press down, then you also want to do exercise where you have that tricep lengthened. That way you are hitting the tricep from a little bit different angle and a little bit different force with each exercise. Again, triceps respond really well to high volume, so you want to work your reps of 12, 15, maybe 20, and again 2 to 4 sets. It just depends on what your goal is. All right, today we are going to do some skull crushers. I have the barbell, we're going to do them lying down. So skull crushers are a tricep exercise to focus here entirely on the back of the arm, on the tricep. So you want to start out nice and flat, which that does not allow me to do this. All right. And then we want to get the bar straight up overhead. So press down to the feet, you're going to push the bar up. And then you want your hands in line with your shoulders. So we don't want the bar back here. You want it right here. So everything is just stacked nice and line. And then use your lats and threes to stabilize the shoulder because we don't want it moving. And then all you're doing is bending the elbow, bring the bar down towards your heart, and press it back up. So the only thing that should be moving is your elbow. We don't want to come back here, that's how the shoulder. You want to keep it right here, just locked in, and really focused on the tricep. Don't want to arm be back from that is your skull push. And that is our arm workout for today. So if you give it a shot, let me know if you like it. Also, if you don't like it, that feedback's always good. And be sure to like and subscribe so that you can continue to get our weekly videos.